Welcome back to The Changeover. Coming up this week.
Yeah, a big theme for me was the idea of a framework instead of a playbook. This is a framework for enhancing creativity at your company.
And he said, raise your hand if you feel like you can't keep up with everything that's going on with AI. And every single person, I don't think I saw a hand that wasn't raised. Everyone put a hand up in the room.
Some of these things, although they feel small, could have big impact. Just got the inspiration bug from the conference to feel encouraged to start doing some of these things. It doesn't take a technical degree or coding. It's literally going through the process of clicking and dragging and just thinking through how you want something to flow. Any of us can do that.
Welcome to the Changeover Podcast. I'm Greg Linnemanstons, president of Weidert Group. In today's episode, we reflect on hosting our 11th Experience Inbound, Wisconsin's premier marketing and sales conference. This year, both locations sold out, and incredible speakers from around the country spoke. Joining me today are seasoned Weidert Group pros who will unpack their biggest takeaways and how these takeaways will impact their client programs moving forward. Well, let me welcome you all to this episode of The Changeover. I'm really excited to be talking about Experience Inbound. It's such a great time for all of us, and it's really fun that we can share our takes on what we learned, what we saw. So let's get started with introductions. So who wants to go first?
I'm Frank Iska, Director of Business Development here on the team. This was year 11 for me of Experience Inbound. Actually, it'd be number 12 because we did one before it was Experience Inbound Boot Camp, and just continue to be amazed by what our collective team can do along with the stream team to bring in top speakers and continue to grow our attendance. Just a lot of new faces, a lot of familiar faces, but overall, amazing two days between Lambeau Field and the Harley-Davidson Museum in Milwaukee.
Amanda?
Thanks, Frank. I'm Amanda Retzky, Client Success Manager at Weidert Group. I think that this is my 5th or 6th Experience Inbound, and I really do think it gets better every year. And really, we come away from the event just feeling so energized by what we heard and ideas that we have for our businesses that come out of the conference. So excited to talk about that today and share that with our listeners.
Wonderful. Thanks. Reed?
I'm Reed Trier. I'm a strategist at Weidert Group. I've been here for 10 years, and this is my 10th Experience Inbound. So I had to bust out the 10th anniversary Experience Inbound shirt today. But I think the thing that stands out to me is just how you compare year over year, just thinking about what was shared last year and how much has changed versus this year. I had a conversation with Chelsea actually at last year's event where she shared SEO concept the previous year. And I said, could you imagine sharing that exact same advice this year? And she said, no, so much has changed. The landscape is so different. So while it was relevant a year ago, not necessarily relevant today, and it's going to only get more and more apparent that times are changing fast. And so,
wouldn't it be fun if we played a game of what's going to be most irrelevant next year?
Absolutely, yeah.
Let's stick with you, Reed. When you think about aha moments, I know I had a lot of them. Talk to us about your favorite aha moment.
Yeah, I put a lot of thought into this just because there's so much value shared at Experience Inbound. But I would say there's so many different avenues for success. I think when we look back, we used to have this really well-defined inbound playbook. And we could say things like, if your keywords are ranking just off of page 1, we can develop a strategy for you where we'll create content to boost those keywords to page 1, and you will see definitive results. You'll see it in traffic. You'll see it in lead generation down the funnel. And I think we were very comfortable with that. Now, rather than viewing the fact that that's not necessarily the case, and that old SEO approach is not as relevant and not as easy due to AI overviews and many other factors, I think we just need to view it as an opportunity. And so that was kind of an aha for me to just say, Okay, it's a challenge, but it's more of an opportunity, and there's so many different ways. If you want to streamline your own operations by building an AI agent that can help you do something that you just don't want as part of your day, or build a GPT to make yourself more efficient, combine that with different approaches that you can take in audience research to understand your audience better if you're trying to boost your business results, right? There's so many different tools and channels that you can really leverage to pull for success. And I think that that really clicked or just reinforced that fact for me, just listening to all the talks. And it's an exciting time. So I think there's a lot of possibilities.
Yeah. Amanda, did you hear anything that scared you?
Oh boy, that's a fun question. At the very beginning of his keynote, Sam Malakarjunan from Agent AI posed a question to the audience, all of the session attendees. And he said, raise your hand if you feel like you can't keep up with everything that's going on with AI. And every single person, I don't think I saw a hand that wasn't raised. Everyone put a hand up in the room. And I think sometimes we can feel like it's just us that doesn't know everything about all the tools or is constantly learning. But it's really everyone, no matter which business you're at. It's especially with AI, it's a constant learning experience. So I think that put everyone at ease a little bit, that we're all in the same boat. We're all here to learn. We're all finding new ways to use this new technology. So I think that put my fears at ease a little bit, just to know that everyone's feeling the same way that I am.
Yeah, I want to build on that, Amanda. I was feeling that so many times, this empathy that we're all in this together. Back to what Reed was saying, it's almost a brand new canvas. There's no do this. No, it's what do you want to do? What's the best path for you? What do you want to try? Where are you going to do some experimentation? And it's that empathy that says none of us have all the answers, and all of our heads are spinning. So thank you, Amanda. Good one. Frank, you've had the longest tenure, so you've been to every Experience Inbound, and so you're the one most likely to be jaded. But I don't feel you. I don't feel you being jaded coming out of this. So, what are you excited about, and what did you see and hear that makes you most optimistic about the future in our profession?
Yeah, I'm really excited about just all the possibilities to streamline activities and operations. I think it's easy to think about AI as a way to create content or to help you write better emails. But what about all the ways you can automate things that take up valuable time in your day? So I was really encouraged by the number of free tools, Agent.ai being one of them, that you can start to use for free. That's an easy sell. But there's a whole slew of other free tools that are out there that already have some of this automation built in, or make it very easy to build your automation without any coding. And just thinking about the ways that, how can I free up certain busy work, kind of admin work in my workflow of my day, to focus more on creativity, or to help make more sense of data. You're using AI to make more sense of the numbers. So I was really encouraged by that. And it's a lot of open sharing from the different speakers, and just talking to attendees of ways that they're starting to crack the code without coding, using these tools to just become more efficient in their day, and making sure they're not losing sight of what do we do as marketers, and that's being creative and giving ourselves time to do that. And I'm sure we'll talk more about that from Melanie's talk, as making sure that you do allow time as a team to be creative. But I see AI and different automated tools as a way to free up that time as marketers.
What do you think about, as we reflect, and when it's over, it's easier to reflect. When we're right in the middle of it, it's you can't see the forest for the trees. But now that we've had time to reflect, what do you think were the big themes? And I asked this question in the context of knowing we didn't have any themes going in when we planned the event to say, oh yeah, we're going to focus on this. What, as you look back, what are the themes that you saw emerge?
Yeah, a big theme for me was the idea of a framework instead of a playbook. Framework, that word was used in almost every session that I was a part of. And what I found really interesting about that is we're going to give you a framework, thinking about Melanie Diesel's presentation on creativity. This is a framework for enhancing creativity at your company. However, you really know the dynamics, what makes your company unique, how this could be implemented and implemented your own way. Same with Sam Malakarjunan on AI agents. This is the framework for building your own AI agent in a way that you feel is most useful and impactful. So it wasn't that. This is step one, and this is step two, and it's this very methodical process. So I think it just really reflects the state we're in marketing and sales today, and it's a very dynamic landscape. And what these speakers could do is provide a very solid framework for us. Chelsea and Joe with audience research as well, same thing. And it's really understanding your audience, your own personal needs, your business needs, wherever it applies, and taking that next step for your organization. So I really saw that as a common thread across many of the talks.
Yeah, which again points to the importance of the human involvement and the human perspective and judgment, is that you've got to decide, make judgments on what to do within a framework of creativity or of agent creation or whatever your challenges are. Yeah.
Yes, you have to think through the challenges and who it benefits and really think critically about that. It's just not some playbook that you can apply universally. So that's something that I think is only going to get more and more important as we move on.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Amanda, how about you?
Yeah, I love to build off of what you said, Reed. One of the overarching themes from Experience Inbound, especially with session titles, was AI. And that's no big surprise. But really, the sessions didn't focus on a deep dive into AI tools and here's what you should be using and here's how to do what. I think that a statement that Sam made during his keynote really struck a chord with me. He said, everyone has the same access to the same AI tools, but the big differentiator is the person or the team that's using those tools. So it's not just the tools you use, but it's how you use them. It's the knowledge of your team, what you know about your clients and customers, what you know about your products and services, what you offer. It's taking the cool functionality of AI, and it's using it in a smart way based on the knowledge you have in your role and also what you know about your business and customers. So it's not just sort of an easy button. It's a way to layer on some efficiencies with what you already know and the great work you already do. So it's definitely having that deep knowledge of your audience, like you mentioned, Reed. It's really just enhancing what you're currently doing with some neat technology that can make things easier. So I think even though AI was definitely the theme of the event, there was also that more human level as well.
Frank, what about you?
That's a perfect segue, because for me, a big theme that stood out to me is authenticity. And us as humans appreciate being marketed to from other humans, not just technology. And some of that it continues to take team creativity. So I really appreciated Melanie Diesel, one of our opening keynotes in the morning. She's a great way to kick off the day, to really embrace this concept of divergent thinking and convergent thinking, and making sure as a team, you're not getting too wrapped up in the tools and the technology. There's a lot that can be done as an organization and as marketers when we put our brains together. And that takes giving ourselves time to do that and not being so concerned about, okay, this is really out of left field. We got to start to rein things in. really getting the ideas out there before you start to prune them. And I really like that that analogy of really just seeing where your mind can go, and maybe pulling in others from your team that maybe aren't normally part of that type of creativity and thinking, and see where that takes you. That's going to really help you in this kind of noisy marketing landscape stand out. Continue to find new ways to be human and have that authenticity, and that starts with your team. And then find ways to layer in technology and AI to maybe work with that, but it starts with the human aspect as a team. So I appreciated that theme, and I definitely felt that throughout different sessions of, yes, we have all these tools at our disposal, but we can't forget about like where great marketing comes from. And it's really thinking through, tying back to that audience piece and having those insights into who are we really speaking to, and understanding those nuances, and using AI as that assistant, that assist, versus just solely relying on it to do great things.
Yeah, it's really says something that you can look at. Melanie, Sam, and Jenny Lee, all three of them talked about authenticity as the ingredient for success. That there's the democratization, and Sam really hit hard on that. Democratization meaning that the small agile companies have a distinct advantage because we're not embedded in an old way of doing things. It's easier for us to change, easier for small businesses, even startups, to use AI to move fast and to scale fast, but be agile in what they do and how they do it. So that was a theme that really hit me hard. And the other theme, I think, was more a byproduct. It wasn't something that we heard talked about, but when you step back, and we started talking about this earlier, is the whole idea that we're a community, and the only way you can possibly keep up is thinking as part of a community. That when you have a question, you go to a community. When you have something to share, you take it to the community, and we've all got to be intentional about doing that. It means going to events like Experience Inbound, but it also means getting yourself involved in a what do they call those? Not the master. What term am I looking for?
Mastermind group.
Mastermind.
Thank you. Getting involved in a mastermind group and building it with intentionality. Reaching out to people whose ideas and thought processes you can really respect and you've valued over the years, and making them a part of your regular conversations. I love doing that, and I know some of you are involved in stuff like that too, and that's something that I'd want to encourage everybody, that find your folks, find your group, find your place, whether it's an existing group or one that you take the lead on, because that's how we're all going to keep our blades sharp, I think, is by regularly jumping into a community conversation and having somebody tell us, no, you don't have that quite right. It's more like this. That's a healthy thing and something that we can all benefit from going forward from here.
Well, and kudos to Sam and the Agent.ai team, because they have built a separate community. So you don't have that blank slate syndrome of like, how do I get started using an agent? You can go out to their community and see how hundreds and thousands of other people are using agents and have already built some that you can plug and play and start using within seconds. And that can inspire, okay, this is a good starting point, but now I have a vision of how this could be even better. That's what they want. They want people to be out there and collaborate, take an open source agent and make your own iteration and make it better. It's a really smart model. And I think there's talks eventually that some of that will roll into HubSpot as functionality, which what a fantastic way to do product development is you lean on a community to build out these things and then roll it into your product. So I'm excited to see what the future brings with that.
Yeah. Well, and especially that they did it in a nonprofit way, that they made, there were no barriers at all. And that's why I think we were talking the other day about how many agents have been built and how many people are part of that community. It's staggering how fast that's grown, and it's because there's no barriers, and that's, boy, hats off to them.
There's power behind free, and free is driving activity.
Yeah, well, and Dharmesh, the genius once again. Free turns into something that's extremely valuable, and so it's not like he's happy to give away the store. Dharmesh knows how to make money and create value, and he's done it again.
Yeah, I think that it hits on another theme for me is just take baby steps with some of these tools and technologies. It's not that you have to make a major six-figure investment in some game-changing tool or something where a lot of promises were given and you make that investment and you're just hoping it works out. I mean, you can get started for free in so many areas. And then like internally, how we've done some work here, building GPTs and then providing feedback and working with each other, collaborating on making those most beneficial for our agency. And I can see that certainly applying to clients' businesses in the same way, and finding a way to take that first step. And it can be very small. And because if you're not testing, right, you're not trying hard enough. And I think that that's a key lesson to take out of all of this.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. One cautionary theme that I heard is that there is no option to not participate in what's happening now. That's just flat out not an option. And that shouldn't scare people. Frank and I had an experience the day after Experience Inbound with a client who told us a story about using AI for the first time. And it worked out so well for him. He was absolutely thrilled about how easy and powerful it was. And it was on some personal stuff, but it really did the job for him. Had us both smiling.
Yeah, that's all it takes.
Yeah.
And maybe that's the less intimidating way. Is I don't trust this to do something for me professionally when my role at work, but I'm going to try to use this personally.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of members of our team openly share the ways that they're using it in their personal life, and that can help spark some inspiration ideas how to use it in their day job. So, yeah, you got to start small. To Reed's point, and there's plenty of resources out there to help inspire and get you started. And you can't say that the cost is going to hold you back, because not just only Agent AI, but a lot of other tools out there are free to get started with as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So one of the things that we always close Experience Inbound with is a challenge to the attendees. And the challenge is, what are you going to do differently tomorrow? Both for your own professional development and for your advancing your business. And we say this, we come right out and say this to demonstrate to the people who let you come to the event, that let you spend the money and take the day to come to it, to demonstrate to them the value you're bringing back. And so as we think about that, same challenges for us. What are we going to do differently? How are we going to be affected going forward? So, Amanda, let's start with you. What are you going to do differently? What are the steps you're going to take yourself, with your clients?
Yeah, that's a great question. Two things really come to mind as things that I would like to do more of coming out of what I heard at Experience Inbound. One thing to mention is that maybe it's just me, maybe it's others. I use AI technology a lot to create things, variations of copy or formatting something in a different way. And, a great idea that I heard was, in addition to just using the technology to create new things, you can also use it to review and improve upon what you've already created. So if you have a presentation deck that you'll be using with a prospect or even a client or customer, why don't you run that through AI? Tell them who you'll be speaking to, what you've heard in the past, maybe even provide their company website and see if AI has any recommendations for even improvements or additions to your presentation. You could do that also internally with maybe something that you plan on sharing with a team member. Run what you plan on saying past AI, tell them who you'll be speaking to, and it can provide you maybe with some recommendations on how to make something stronger or what to add in. So I think using AI to improve upon or kind of act as a litmus test for what you've created is a great way to use the tool. It's sort of like that coworker that won't mind if you ask them 100 questions in one day. It'll keep asking for more.
Yeah.
So that's one thing that I'd like to implement more coming out of Experience Inbound. But also something that I heard in Lucy Alexander from HubSpot's presentation is with the capabilities of AI, we are open to so many more personalization opportunities using unstructured data. So for a long time now, a lot of our personalization has come from form properties, and the more prescriptive or regulated, the better, because you know who you're talking to. You can easily segment together lists or groups. But with AI now, we can better make use of and grab information quickly from more unstructured data points like call transcripts or service visits reports. So I think that those real-time areas of customer information and opportunity will not only provide us new ways to personalize items within our marketing efforts, but also it will bring in more team members at your company within your marketing efforts. Yeah. So really having different departments know that what they're gathering is truly useful for you in how you're communicating with clients or customers. I think that will be really powerful going forward.
Yeah, I agree with you that Joe and Chelsea's presentation really opened my eyes about the unstructured data and all the things we can do with that. I hadn't thought about it as practically as they demonstrated, and that just blew my mind. And it's something, we got to be talking to all of our clients about. Everybody should be thinking about what's possible there because it just opens all sorts of doors. Reed, how about you?
Yeah, Amanda's second point hit on it for me is your internal data sources and squeezing the most juice out of those as possible. I think it's very easy to get caught up in chasing the next new shiny thing or looking outside of the data that you have third party to find insights. SparkToro is a good example of a benefit there, but what do you have in your CRM? What do you have related to the voice of your customer within your own HubSpot cadence, for example? I think there's so many important pieces of data within your CRM, for example, that you have access to, and that you can really get a lot of important actionable advice from. There is, I would say, so much there that is not always a core focus because you think you know your customers, your prospects, and in your CRM so well. But when you really take a step back, what is that data telling you? I like the example Chelsea and Joe gave of the various comments in the form submission and finding patterns in that by using AI. What strings these comments together? How can I use this customer feedback or prospect feedback to help market better and to message better? Those kind of things, right, we have access to, and it's just about taking a step back and viewing that and thinking critically from that perspective. I was going to say this earlier when I was speaking a little bit on SEO, but it's just really funny to think about how we were very convinced for a long time that content we were creating was always for prospects and pain points, but in many cases, it was to serve search engines. It was, this search data is telling me that this is important because there's a lot of volume. well, is that truly the potential buyer that you want to attract with your content? So using the data that you have available to you is where you can find what's really important to prospects that you would do business with, and to customers. How can you capitalize on that data versus what a search engine algorithm tells you might want to do? I'm very glad that we've evolved beyond that.
Yeah. Isn't it ironic? You just made me think about an irony here, Reed, and that is that AI is helping us understand and find individuals, humans, better. That now, because of what AI can do with unstructured data, we got a whole new category of data that we're able to mine better and find people and find their true sentiments. To me, that's a big valuable irony. Frank, how about you?
Yeah, for me, I want some time just to get in and start making some things.
Let's go, Frank. Let's make something.
I've considered taking like a work week off, work PTO, and actually still working for a whole week and just start making things. And the platform I want to get into is make.com. I was just so blown away. A number of different presenters highlighting that tool. And this is similar to like a Zapier, where you can integrate and build syncs between different tools and automate different actions. But the thing I like about make.com is it's very visual and essentially integrates with a lot of the tools that we all use on a daily basis, whether that be our Outlook or Gmail, the G Suite products, whether it's Google Sheets or Google Slides, HubSpot, connecting these different things, these different actions to streamline processes and different workflows throughout your day. The light bulb really went off for me, especially in a sales role, a lot of collecting of different information in the sales process and creating proposals. I saw a lot of ways there could be added efficiency with a tool like make.com, which you can start with at a free level. And I think the next paid level is under $11 a month. So it's a very low barrier to get in and start making things that can have a serious impact in your efficiency, to then free yourself up for more valuable things that your customers and prospects would experience. So, for me, it's I think we talked about this earlier on the session here, is not waiting to start, and start small. But some of these things, although they feel small, could have big impact. Just got the inspiration bug from the conference to feel encouraged to start doing some of these things. It doesn't take a technical degree or coding. It's literally going through the process of clicking and dragging and just thinking through how you want something to flow. Any of us can do that. So it's just jumping in and giving it a shot.
Yeah, great. As we wrap up, anybody bold enough, and this you got to be vulnerable to do this. Anybody going to make a prediction on next year? What's going to be a dominant theme next year?
Oh, man. We're all speechless.
Well, I'm letting silence happen.
I think that we'll continue to have an overall theme next year that relates to AI as well. I think that's not going anywhere, but I think it will look different than this year. And I'm not exactly sure how, but I think as we see marketing evolve, or we look at the overall cycle of marketing, I think we will get back to a greater focus on individuals and prospects. As Reed mentioned, there's a lot of value, and there was a lot of extreme focus on keywords specifically, and SEO related to those keywords. But now we are getting more focused on individuals and meeting them where they're at, and looking at behaviors instead of demographics. So I think there'll be some mesh up of AI, but also using that to really speak to specific individuals. And there'll be how to do that, which I'm excited about hearing next year. I hope that comes to fruition.
Anybody else?
I think for me, it's going to be the continued shift on how people search and gather information. We've already seen an immense shift on how that's impacting traditional SEO. I'm predicting we're going to see even more of a drastic shift in the industry. And not sure if that's going to mean an even more reliance on ads or exploring other platforms, but I also envision some consolidation happening as far as where people go to gather information and how you play into making sure that you're showing up, especially in that AI-generated content, and make sure that you have a voice. That can't be faked. There was ways in the past with traditional SEO that you could somewhat fake to get those rankings. If you want to get cited and AI searched, you have to have authenticity and have a voice out there and show that you are an expert, that people are talking about, whether that's in reviews or mentions. That takes work, and it takes being really good at what you do as far as the product that you make or the service you provide. So if anything, the strongest will prevail and reach the top. And I think for those that are focusing on what they do as a business and taking care of their customers, that's where it starts. So it'll be interesting to see. Things are going to continue to shift wildly and I think very rapidly. Sam touched on this, that he could step away for 2 weeks and we would essentially, outpace him in his learning because things are moving so quick. And he is an expert in the AI space and agent space. That just really put into perspective.
Yeah.
If we're talking bold takes, I'll say that AI agents will be a regular part of our lives, and we will have use cases, examples of how we use it every single day. And I do think that that's going to be a place where maybe by next year we'll be sharing very practical examples of how those are used and how those have helped transform, I think, efficiency.
Yeah, I agree with you there, Reed. I think agents are just starting to take off as a concept and a practice that is more widely understood, and it's just starting to achieve liftoff. That I think we're going to see. And if you just look at the news stream, just in the last couple of weeks, all the big players have had some kind of announcement about what they're doing with agents. And promoting agent capabilities and product lines. And I think it's going to be an explosion. And I think we're also going to see something, and Sam alluded to it with Agent AI and HubSpot. I think we're going to see the MarTech landscape begin to consolidate around the big platforms, that all of these tools, these independent tools that have been created, and it's been, an unbelievably fertile landscape the last 2.5 years of innovation and startup, that we're going to see them start to acquire with almost a land grab mentality, that everybody's trying to build the best place for people like us and our clients to work. And that makes me really excited to be aligned with HubSpot. That I know they're thinking. We've seen it over the years. It's predictably aggressive about building the best place for us to do our work, and I think that's going to be a theme. I think we should start lining up HubSpot speakers right now, because some of the people building that are going to be in hot demand to talk about their vision of the future. Last question: what was your favorite thing about the day, Amanda? What was your favorite thing?
I think, not at Weidert, but certainly many of our customers, clients, or just peers that we know might work in smaller marketing teams. They might be a marketing team of 1. They might be a marketing team of 2. And so to spend a whole day with other marketing peers, just learning and talking and networking, is just really special, and it's really powerful. And it's just a great time being among like-minded people and learning together. That's my favorite part.
Yeah. Reed, what made it most fun for you?
Well, sidebar a bit, the Lambo tour, seeing people experience that for the very first time. That was probably my 10th time, but just seeing people's eyes light up, and as they learn about the history and see the facilities, it's always a really cool thing. But as far as the conference goes, I think it's just the conversations had with clients that were after sessions, think just motivated, just being very motivated and thinking about what's next and how all the advice that they learned, how they can apply it day one. It wasn't highly conceptual in many ways. A lot of what we share at Experience Inbound, our guest share, is very, very practical. And someone can go to their office day one, implement a few things and look at their organizational needs and determine where's the best place to start. So back to that point as well. It's just really good conversation around that.
Yeah. Frank, how about you?
I think for me, it was just seeing all the repeat attendees that continue to come back because they get so much value from this day, and just talking to them and why they keep coming back, and they speak to the speakers and just the quality of the content that we bring, and they feel more equipped to succeed in their role after they leave. So what a value they're getting by dedicating a workday to get this inspiration and be on the forefront of new technology and new thinking that they can take back to their team and their organization to deliver real results. So that was, for me, I always love that part and hearing some of those comments as they're leaving the day energized and encouraged versus overwhelmed. They're just ready to take charge. So that's what I love to see.
Yeah. For me, that's a part of it is I get all these LinkedIn messages and emails the day after saying, wow, don't know how you guys do it, but, way to go. And I love that. It feels like people recognizing this is a labor of love for us, that it's something that we really get charged up about doing. And the appreciation, the recognition that, this is valuable and it's good and you did it. And I shared with all you my absolute favorite. This is easy. Is end of the day when I get to do the wrap up to the audience, and it's all I can do to not shed a few tears because I'm so proud of what we've done, and I know I can see it in the faces of all the attendees. I can see the value they got and the appreciation they're feeling, and we did it, and we came together as a team, and we had a vision of what we wanted to bring, and we pulled it off once again. And so, if I could bottle that, holy cow, the world would be a better place because we'd all have better attitudes about the work we do and the people we work with. And I think that's a wrap. Great job, guys. This is the most fun podcast episode I've been a part of yet.
Thanks for joining us on the Changeover Podcast. Remember to subscribe on Apple, Spotify, YouTube, Weidert.com, or wherever you get your podcasts. Let us know what you'd like to hear about next time by messaging Weidert Group on social media. Thanks for watching.